Assalamu alaikum. What should you eat during Ramadan for sahur before you fast, or if you're trying to prepare for Ramadan by doing some sunnah fasting in Rajab and Sha'ban, which are the 2 months before Ramadan, to get extra barakah and physically prepare yourself for fasting. Inshallah, today I'm going to be talking about the principles behind a sahur that limits your hunger, maximizes your energy levels, maximizes fat loss, fat burning, while also preserving and possibly even building some muscle, inshallah, during your fast for Ramadan and Sunnah fast before Ramadan. So inshallah, let's dive in. So what are the principles? Now, let's talk about the 3 points, right? Maximizing energy, and that comes by getting your body into a fat burning state where your body's running on its own body fat to optimize your energy during the fast. And let's talk about, excuse the bad lighting for a second, I'm gonna step to a better lighting place. And then we'll talk about what causes hunger during a fast and how to minimize it, okay? And then we'll also talk about what causes muscle loss during Ramadan and how to minimize that by eating the right things during your sahur. And then, we'll talk about whatever else you want to talk about. So comment below with any questions as you're going through this. And inshallah, let me know what other questions you need answered before Ramadan, what other info you need, inshallah, to have a successful Ramadan so you can have good energy levels, make the most of your ibadah, and make the most of the fact that your good deeds are times 70 in Ramadan. Inshallah, let's get into it. So, all right, so what should you eat? Okay, so how do you get your body in a fat burning mode so your body's burning more energy? So the first thing is, this can actually go really complex, but you need to make sure that you're metabolically healthy, okay? So if your metabolism is slow, you're micronutrient deficient, and your body is kind of in a position where your metabolism, your thyroid is not working properly, then your body is not gonna have the metabolic flexibility to start burning its own body fat and running on good energy. So like, if you notice that when you don't eat, you get really hungry, really tired, really hangry, your mood drops, all that stuff, you tend to be bloated, you tend to have bad energy levels in general, you tend to over-rely on caffeine, there's a chance that you have a little bit of metabolic unhealthiness going on and a little bit of metabolic inflexibility. There's a chance that you probably eat a lot of processed carbohydrates, you probably don't eat enough protein, you probably eat unhealthy fats as opposed to healthy fats, you probably eat too much, you're probably overweight, you probably eat a lot of stuff that's causing inflammation and bloating. There's a chance that you might be at risk of diabetes, that you might have bad blood work, a lot of stuff. So it is important to get your blood work. Now you might probably watch this, you're like, bro, just tell me what to eat. Don't tell me to go get blood work. I'm not ready for that yet. Or maybe you're watching this, you're like, bro, you know what? This guy Munir is right. I'm gonna go get blood work and maybe you can help me read it. And yes, I can help you read your blood work and we can talk about that later, inshallah. But how do we make this more simple, right? Well, we could go deeper into diagnosing the problem, into all your micronutrients and all that stuff, and that's a much longer discussion than what we have time for today. I have other videos on this though, inshallah, that have either come out or will be coming out, right? But just real quick, what we can talk about though is how to make sure you're getting the right micronutrients, okay? So one of the best things you can eat for sahur is eggs, okay? Why is eggs good for sahur? A couple different reasons. Number one, it's got really good micronutrients. It's got selenium, which is good for your metabolism. It's got choline, which is good for your energy levels. The egg yolks, yes, make sure you're getting high quality, not those cheap eggs, but good eggs, right? And it's also got healthy fats. It's got omega-3s, which are anti-inflammatory. And it's got healthy fats, which are going to keep you full for a long time. It's got a lot of protein, which is going to prevent you from losing muscle. So there's a lot of benefits. And I probably should have started this video by talking about what causes you to get like tired and hungry. Or I was talking about what makes you tired. Also, if you go too low in your calories, it'll also make you tired, but that's not a big problem for most people. Most people overeat during Ramadan. Or if you overeat at night, but you undereat for sahur, that's another reason why you're getting hungry and tired and why you're losing muscle, okay? So again, the whole point of this is to help you prevent muscle loss, and just burn fat instead, have good energy levels, and not be hungry during Ramadan. And again, we're gonna keep talking about that. So let's talk, so check out my other videos on micronutrients for a deeper discussion on that, but I just wanna introduce that. And if you need help having me read your blood work, that's something we do inside of our coaching program, inshallah. More details on that in the links below. Now, let's talk about what makes you hungry during Ramadan. So it's kind of inevitable that at some point during a fast, you're gonna get kind of hungry, but the question is how hungry you're gonna get. Are you gonna get ravenously hungry where you feel terrible, it crashes your energy levels, crashes your mood, you feel like absolute junk? Or you're just gonna get kind of hungry, but you can manage it, and then you just get your body back in fat burning mode, then you start burning fat, and then you stop being hungry, right? So how do you do that? Well, what causes that really ravenous hunger is when your blood sugar drops. And here's a big paradigm breaker for a lot of you guys, especially if you're eating like parathas and a bunch of carbs for sahur. I'm not anti-carb by any means. You need carbs for good energy levels, for good performance in the gym, all that stuff. But when are we eating those carbs and which types of carbs are we eating? So if you're eating parathas for sahur, what's happening is, especially if you're adding sugar to it, like sugary tea and parathas, the typical Pakistani breakfast, or if you're Arab, there's probably a lot of other carbs you might be eating in the morning, just a bunch of bread. Maybe you're eating fool with bread if you're Arab, and you're like, okay, the fool makes me feel full and I feel good, but then why do I get hungry like 3 to 5 hours later and then I'm super hungry for the rest of the day? Well, it's because when you eat carbohydrates, your blood sugar goes up, which gives you energy, makes you feel full, makes you feel good, improves your mood, and makes you feel relaxed. And then from there, your blood sugar goes down and you get hungry, okay? So the problem is when you eat carbs with your first meal of the day, again, if you're like if this is outside of Ramadan, you're a skinny guy who struggles to gain weight, this is actually good to eat carbs with your breakfast because it'll increase your appetite during the day. But if you're somebody who's not trying to get hungry in the fast, or you're somebody who tends to overeat, it's really hard for you to control your portions, and you just have a huge appetite, you eat like 3,000, 4,000 calories a day, and you're overweight, and you're trying to eat less, but it's really hard for you, cutting carbs out of your breakfast and then just eating carbs either with your dinner or with your lunch. Yes, you can eat carbs at night. That's another topic I'll talk about in another video because I don't want to make this video too long, but it's called carb backloading. Search it up on the internet. You can find a lot of good resources on how to do carb backloading on the internet, and inshallah I'll have a video on that soon as well. But again, when you don't eat carbs with breakfast and instead you just have plenty of protein, some healthy fats, it's going to sustain you for the day, and your blood sugar is not going to get that dip, and therefore you're not going to get hungry. And because you're not getting hungry, your energy levels are going to be better. Your body's going to have to burn those fats that you ate for energy, and then your body's going to be more easily able to get into a fat burning mode. Again, I'm not like necessarily an advocate for keto or anything, but your body almost gets in like a semi-ketogenic state. You'll still have some glucose in your system, which is going to keep your brain running on glucose, because again, you would have eaten carbs the night before for iftar, which we'll talk about that in another video on what to eat for iftar during Ramadan, and check that out. I'll link it below as well, and I'll attach it at the end of this video as well. But yeah, like, for sahur, you want to make sure that you're eating healthy fats, tons of protein, and this is going to be the best thing. And I have a little bit of a longer video with a slideshow on like what I eat specifically for sahur, but I'll just talk about it right now. So, what are some things that have healthy fats? Well, eggs are really good. You could also do, some meats. You don't even have to do lean meats like you normally would, but you also don't want to do overly fatty meats. Like, you don't want to eat lamb for sahur. You're going to feel super heavy all day, and there's going to be too many calories, and you're going to end up being in a calorie surplus and gaining body fat during Ramadan. But lamb will keep you full for a really long time, so maybe in moderation, or especially if you have a fast metabolism. Like, if you have a fast metabolism and you're a skinny guy and you're scared of getting small during Ramadan, yeah, you could actually eat lamb during sahur. It'll keep you definitely your body fed and keep you in a calorie surplus during Ramadan. You could actually, you might gain some fat while gaining muscle if you're eating that high of fats, and I have another video on why it's easier to get fat eating a surplus of fats as opposed to eating a surplus of carbs, because actually 98% of your body fat originated as dietary fat versus only 2% of your body fat originated as dietary carbohydrates, as done in tracer studies. Again, I have another video on that, so check that out later. But the point is, for sahur, again, using eggs as the base, maybe adding a little bit of like, low carb yogurt, Greek yogurt that is, right? So like Oikos Zero Sugar is a really, really good one. It's got a ton of protein, but it's low in calories, and it's gonna keep you full because it's a slow digesting protein called casein, which is the primary protein in yogurt, and it's a high quality protein. You could also do a protein shake. You could do whey or casein. I don't usually like drinking casein protein shakes. They're really chalky and gross versus like whey protein. I'm a big fan. I love it, right? So like a typical sahur for me would be like 5 eggs, like 3 to 5 eggs, 2 scoops of whey protein, and maybe like 2, Greek yogurts, the Chobani Zero Sugar one. Plus Chobani, I believe, is owned by a Muslim brother, so you can support a Muslim business by buying Chobani, right? Double check that though, I'm not sure, I just heard it somewhere. But point is though, it's a good product regardless, as long as it's not owned by who, the people who we don't want to support. I won't say it though, because I don't want to get banned on YouTube, because they control everything, if you know who I'm talking about. But the point is, I won't say anything, I'm not trying to get banned, but yeah. So, but I'm sure it's probably not owned by them. So anyways, the point is, however, there are certain oils that you want to avoid, right? So you want to avoid like, canola oil, vegetable oil, all that junk. Generally, we want to cook with avocado oil is a really good one because it's got a high smoke point. If you're using low temperatures, you can use extra virgin, cold pressed, organic olive oil, right? You could use coconut oil is a good one for cooking as well. It gives you good energy because a lot of the fats in coconut oil are quickly utilizable for energy. So these are some things, just be careful with the quantities. Make sure you're not putting yourself in a calorie surplus, because if you're in a calorie surplus and you're eating high fats, you can get fat very quickly. Versus if you keep yourself in a calorie deficit or a calorie maintenance, then those fats are just going to help you keep full and have energy and be in a fat burning mode during the fast. And if you're in a deficit, net deficit for the day, where you're burning more calories than you're consuming, just don't undereat your calories. That'll crash your energy levels as well. Don't go below your basal metabolic rate, which you can literally calculate online. Just search up BMR calculator or TDEE calculator, and from there you'll be able to find what your metabolism, your metabolic rate is for free. And don't eat below that, because then you're going to get really tired, because you're malnourishing yourself. You're not giving yourself sufficient calories for just general baseline energy levels and health, right? So anyways, taking it back though, so that's a good sahur. Some other things I've done for sahur, weirdly enough, I've actually done like fatty salmon for sahur. That one was good, but the fats were a little too high, and I ended up being in a calorie surplus and gaining some body fat. So I generally try to avoid super fatty salmon, but you could do like leaner salmon, right? You know, I know a lot of Bengalis like eating fish, so if you're a Bengali, maybe you like eating fish for suhoor. Maybe you want to do a leaner fish like cod or tuna, and you do it with some eggs for your fats or some avocado for your fats. Avocado is a good fat, like a healthy one, right? So these are some options. I have some clients who like eating chicken and beef liver, including one of my clients from Kenya, mashallah. He likes eating chicken and beef liver, and that's a good suhoor for him. It's high in protein, low in calories, got some healthy fats in it though, which is really good. So you can do any combination. So again, there's a lot that goes into this, but the principle is that if we eat fats and we keep the carbs low, we're not going to get into that blood sugar up and down, so our energy levels are going to be better and our hunger levels are going to be better during Ramadan. We also want to make sure that we're taking care of our micronutrients, so especially if you live in a not so sunny climate and you have dark skin and you're brown like myself, I'm half Pakistani, half Algerian, then from there, you know, you might want to supplement vitamin D. If you lift a lot of weights, you should probably supplement magnesium. There's a lot of supplements, but the best thing you do is get a blood test, figure out what you're deficient in, right? And then from there, supplement that. And, you know, again, let's say that your thyroid numbers come up weird, like your T3 is low. Don't just go, if you get a blood test, you know, the doctor will say, oh, if your TSH is fine, is normal, you're in a normal range, you're fine. But they don't look at what actually matters, which is T3 and also T4. But I mean, T3 is kind of the end result. We want our T3 levels to be in a healthy range. And we also want to make sure that reverse T3 isn't too high. Again, I'm going into blood work nerdy science here, but hopefully you find this interesting. But like testing reverse T3 is pretty expensive. So, you know, if you just get a thyroid panel and you figure out what your regular T3 is, then you should be fine. And from there, that'll tell you whether your metabolism is healthy or not. And if it's not, then we got to look at, okay, copper, iodine, selenium, iron, calcium. There's a lot of things we could look at that could relate, and if you're deficient in these things, you know, it could be the reason why your thyroid is messed up. But if you're eating seafood, you're probably getting a good amount of selenium, right? If you're eating red meat, this has a lot of good micronutrients as well, including the iron. You know, there's a lot, if you eat oysters, that covers a lot of them: selenium, copper, zinc, which is really important for testosterone function and testosterone to estrogen ratio. If you're eating your Greek yogurt and your whey protein, you're getting your calcium. You usually want to supplement magnesium because nuts have a lot of magnesium, but the problem is nuts are really high in calories and it's easy to, like, you know, eat too many of them when you're hungry and just snack on them excessively during Ramadan. Like after iftar, you end up eating like 2,000 calories of nuts. All of a sudden you're in a surplus, and nuts are high in fat. So if you're in a surplus and you're eating high fat, you're going to get fat really quickly. And that's why a lot of people get fat during Ramadan, even though you're not eating all day. Plus their activity levels drop, so they're not burning as many calories. So again, a lot of pitfalls and mistakes to watch out for Ramadan. But the point is, eat a high protein, you know, medium fat suhoor with lower carbs, your energy levels will be good. And the last thing is, the only reason you would lose muscle during Ramadan is if you stop training, so you stop working out, so your body no longer has a stimulus to maintain muscle, so you lose muscle, or if you don't eat enough protein, so your body then is not able to maintain that muscle. So make sure you're getting at least 1 gram per pound of body weight in protein per day. For some people more. I need like 1.5 grams, right? So I usually eat like 300 grams of protein a day. So my suhoor is usually like 100 grams of protein. And yes, you can absorb that much. If you want to see the science behind how much protein can you absorb in a sitting, because somewhere on the internet you heard you can only absorb 30 grams of protein in a sitting, that's BS. 30 grams of protein is kind of the maximum amount needed to trigger protein synthesis, but it doesn't mean that you can't digest more than that. Your body uses all the protein that you eat. And if you want more detail on that, search up Lane Norton, how much protein can your body absorb? He has a really good video. He's a very science-based guy. He does use a little bit of profanity, so if that's a sensitivity for you, maybe don't watch that video. But if you don't mind a little bit of light profanity kind of towards the end of that video, it's an amazing video, mashallah. He's a great guy, and may Allah bless him and guide him to Islam, inshallah. And all the non-Muslims, may Allah guide them to Islam. And may Allah give us a successful Ramadan. Ameen. So again, I have another video I'll talk about iftar because this video is already way longer than I meant for it to be. But that's kind of the general theme is, you know, for me, generally when I'm cutting, I eat anywhere from 2,300 to 2,700 calories a day. So for me, when I'm eating my suhoor, I'm usually having about 800 to 1,000 calories and 100 grams of protein. My iftar is usually, I guess I'll talk briefly about iftar since the video is already too long anyways. I usually have like 3 dates and 2 scoops of protein if it's a workout day, or just 1 day and 2 scoops of protein if it's not a workout day. And then from there, I'll pray Maghrib, I'll work out if it's a workout day, and then I'll pray Isha, and then I'll eat my dinner. And my dinner is only about 500, 600 calories, about 50 grams of protein. And then obviously my iftar, you know, if you do the 2 scoops of protein, that's 250 calories plus 3 dates is 45 grams of carbs. So that's about, you know, 160 to 200 calories. So again, by that point, I'm at about 2,000 calories, and then that gives me about another 300 to 700 calories to play around with if I get hungry later at night and I want to eat some snacks. So if I want to eat like, you know, 5 of those Chobani Zero Greek yogurts, which are only 60 calories each, I can eat a really nice sweet snack. I can have a bunch of different flavors to satisfy my sweets cravings. And Then I go to sleep, and my body has all that casein to feed me while I'm sleeping, and I wake up for sahur, boom, boom, I'm ready to go. And I'm only eating 2,300 calories a day, so I'm still losing body fat because, again, my basal metabolic rate is 2,000, and I walk and train to where I'm burning, at least usually 800 calories a day. So I'm actually in a deficit of 500, which helps me lose a pound of fat a week to where by the end of Ramadan, I've lost 4 pounds. That's how the math works. I'm gonna do other videos on that too, inshallah, so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out my other video on what to eat for iftar. I'm going to do another video on that since the video is already too long, but I hope the sahur video helped you and didn't overwhelm you too much. If you have questions, connect with me on Instagram. I've got the link below, or just drop a comment here on this YouTube video, or both. Actually, the best thing you can do, comment on this YouTube video and I'll answer your comments. And then from there, connect with me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram so you can see my daily motivation videos, my Ramadan series on there too. I post every day on Instagram. And you can also send me a DM on Instagram, and myself or a member of my team will get back to you and give you some direct help, some direct advice, and obviously subscribe to the YouTube as well. Drop a comment with your questions and what other things you want me to cover in future videos for the Ramadan YouTube series. And then from there, we also have a 90-day Ramadan coaching program that prepares you for Ramadan, coaches you during Ramadan, and makes sure that your energy levels are good, your hunger levels are good, you retain muscle, and you're training properly and eating enough protein to retain muscle while losing fat, burning fat for energy, and getting the best results possible so you can make the most of Ramadan, not being hungry, but instead having good energy levels so you can make the most of the ibadah. So I'll attach the link to that as well. So grab those links, drop those comments, subscribe, share with a friend, inshallah, and inshallah, I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum.